Hello, everybody. If it's Wednesday, it's Warhammer, and that must mean it's time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. Joining me, he's back on the show. It's Mr. Strength Hammer himself. It's Chuck. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Vince, it's good to be here yet again. I appreciate you having me back into the Vinceyverse. I'm not sure if there's an official title for it, but that's what I call it so far.
Yeah, yeah. The VCU seems so overdone, you know. So we've got to figure out what that actual expanded universe should be, right? So yeah.
I'm more likely to give you money than I am Marvel at this point.
Oh, that's nice. Good.
Whatever
I
you're
need to
doing,
start
keep
making
doing it.
movies
So, yeah.
then. I'm good to go. I'm set. uh, so turn it to just wait. Next summer of 2027, here comes my new movie all about Super Guy. It's completely legally distinct. Don't worry. The fact that I think is it next year or pretty soon here, actually, original Superman does pass into, um, like the public domain. It's in the next couple years.
It has to be soon. It has to be soon because we just had the Mickey Mouse, like the Steamboat Willie
Yeah,
type
the
thing
Steamboat
come
Willie
through.
version.
So
Yeah.
it's about the same time.
Yeah, the trick will be obviously with all of that is that you're only getting original Superman who can't fly. So it's a very
It
different
jumps really
character.
high.
Yeah, you got to wait several years before you get full on Superman when the radio plays basically become public domain. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about. Speaking of stories, check out the segue. We are going to talk about the history, potential future of the AoS narrative, and ask the question: is AoS lore bad? This is the question, and maybe it's not the lore's fault. That's what I'm going to come to. Okay, that's just I'm teasing you right now. Here we go.
Maybe it's the writer's fault. Is that what we're going with?
No, no, no. I'm not even going to go that direction. No, lore doesn't write itself, right? So no, I just mean it's more of like an execution thing. That's what we'll get
Sure.
to. So
Sure.
okay. But at any rate, of course, first off, we've got some news. First things first, there's a rumor engine. I have it on good authority. This is supposed to be the base for some 40K guy named Trazen or Tarzan or something like that. That was Marty's thought.
Trazen sounds familiar. Yep.
Sure. So sure, why not? Okay. Marty seemed to have several good reasons why he thought that was the case. I believe him. So very nice. 1420 said, Vince, I am painting my first Gray Seer. Oh, a wonderful day. Welcome. Welcome to the Verminous Horde. Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that is one Gray Seer down, many to go. All right. So anyways, this is some 40K thing probably. There you go. Next. Ogres. You've heard of them. You like them. You want the whole stuff. When is it all happening? Why soon? Like next week, as a matter of fact. It goes on
literally
pre-order.
Everything. Go for it. Have fun.
Yeah. I think it's one of the strongest model releases we've had in a while. I was very happy to see the ogres like this. Again, truly the only thing I don't like is the new dumb helmet design. But that's fine. You don't need them. You can assemble all of them without their helmets and just have them have bare heads, and then they look great.
I'm a fan of the big gut plates, the bigger gut plates.
Sure.
I'm a big fan of that. The helmets don't bother me as much as maybe they bother you, but just in general, I'm here for the new ogre kits. They look great, and also they fit very well in squares too. So no matter where you're at, buy these new kits.
Yes, they're absolutely fantastic. So I have all of my ogres set aside. I'm going to probably do this army at some point in the fall when I get some time, and it'll be a nice sort of. I'm going to do it as a 1 week intense project, so it'll be fun.
Nice. Now, have you replaced your basic model that you always paint skin upon? Have you replaced it yet?
Oh, Larry. Will Larry be replaced? Yeah. The question that's on everybody's mind. I mean, Larry is still next to me right here. He's still here. There he is.
He's still a great ogre.
Proof of life. Yes.
Yes.
I keep him in I keep a selection of models right here on my desk in case I need to just have something handy to paint something on in a video, right? I don't try to overuse those things, so it's not always the same model. Like, welcome back to another week, and Vince is painting the exact same model yet again. But Larry's a good mascot. Will he be replaced? Hey, I don't know. Who knows?
Vince, as someone who's a fan of you and a friend of you, and also a recent Ogre acquisition recipient, I will buy you any new Ogre you would like for trade for Larry in whatever state he currently is whenever we do that trade.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
We'll upgrade Larry. It'll be Larry 2.0.
There you go.
And Larry 1.0 will be in my army forever.
Sure. Absolutely. I'm happy to do it. Well, I'll repaint him for one last, good hurrah video before I give him to you. So he can be like fully ready to go. There you go. All right. Also, oh wait, that's next. Sorry. That was all the news basically. That's a thing coming up. There you go. That's it.
That's all the news. That's really all the news. Yeah. 100%.
Not much else going on. It's quiet right now. Someday these 40K doldrums will end and we'll stop having to have every other article about like Necromunda or some new orc or something like that. Okay.
I was excited. We saw some Eldari for a while. You got the dinosaur Eldari, but like back to Space Marines and orcs. I'm like, please stop. I don't care about those at all.
Look, man, they know what moves the Dilleros, as it were, right? So you got to push that plastic. And that's what it is. Okay. So let's move on to some pick of the week, shall we?
Yeah.
We'll move quick because we got some fun stuff to talk about tonight. Pick of the week. Chuck, what do you want to share with everybody?
So I sent you a link. It's not Warhammer related at all. You'd think I'd start my own podcast, all that stuff, but I have a different hobby I also peruse on. Now, Vince, I know you don't care about nostalgia in any way, shape, or form. You have escaped that gravity well.
Yeah, for the most part, there are a few things that will hit, but I mean, again, like I bought the Phantasy Star role-playing game at Gen Con with no intention to ever play it because I love that video game on the Genesis. Now, again, I don't care if I ever play this game. I bought it because I wanted to read it and own it. But that's as like nostalgic as I get. That will sit on a shelf and I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that now. I'm done. That's it.
I understand. And I appreciate that you have some nostalgia. My major nostalgia is for video games, specifically around the 90s era of video games, specifically the Game Boy. So
sure.
I've started a new side business. I sent sent Vince a link to the Instagram for it, but there's a Etsy account on there. But like I'm modding Game Boys that I've purchased for new screens, all that sort of stuff to go purchase. So feel free to check it out. Save State Mods on Instagram. This is the most self-indulgent I've ever been on Vince's show, so he'll forgive me this one chance. But even if you're not interested, go check it out. I love old retro video games and I love repairing them, but I also know that I don't need 80 Game Boys in my house. So I figured I might as well repair them and sell them to people who might be able to use them. So please check it out. I'll leave it there.
Very nice. Very nice. My pick of the week will be for our good buddies, Ninjon and Miniac, Scott and John, over at Trapped Under Plastic, who had a little discussion this last Monday, about is Gen Con worth it for mini painters and wargamers? So there you go. Something we also touched on the most recent episode of Snarlcast, where we talked about how it's still not great for wargamers. So I guess our podcast answered theirs. That's nice. We didn't coordinate. Just they asked the question, we provided the answer. See, look at that. You can listen to them both back to back. They asked the question, we provide why. And from what I'm to understand, for that episode of Snarlcast, it actually did start some discussion amongst the event organizers, which I'm happy to hear, because I am not happy with the state of wargaming at Gen Con. 74,000 people. Okay. And like the StarCraft and Trench Crusade booths weren't even in the exhibit hall. They were like separately. And I think probably half the attendees wouldn't have even known where they were if I asked people who are interested in these sorts of things. That's a problem. We got to get some better organization here.
Honestly, I watched some recaps of Gen Con, but the primary, at least algorithm showed me, was folks who were in the Pokemon trading card game space.
Sure.
Talking about it more, like they're like, oh, hey, here's Warhammer. You can go paint your Legion. And like what they were saying about Warhammer, the booth itself, which I was invited to go work the booth. I couldn't, unfortunately, but was also woefully wrong.
Sure.
So I agree with you. There needs to be dialogue on the back end and be like, this is not being represented correctly. And I can't imagine that the painting competition is being even close to that, which is also woefully wrong. So
yeah. Well,
I hope
it's a wonderful competition.
General,
It's like off to the side. Again, like you don't know it if you don't know to walk up to this particular end on the second floor where all the painting stuff is. So, anyways, the point is that I'd love to see wargaming and miniature painting improved because Lynn is running an amazing MHE program there, and there are like all the wargaming. Not everybody. There's less wargaming companies there than I'd like. But even when they are, they're like spread out and hard to find, other than the Warhammer booth, which is like dead center when you're walking in one of the doors. They do have like the primo location, but which I'm sure they probably won't abandon.
But also too, like, why wouldn't you put the smaller ones next to it?
Right.
Because that's when people are going to.
That's what I said. That whole area down there, there's like an area of the hall that should just be the wargaming area, be outside the exhibit hall. It'd be perfect. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Games Workshop's not going to steal monetary value from those other wargamer booths if they existed for a small one-off game. It's only going to help it.
Right.
Like you're either into Warhammer or you're not. And if you're not, you're into these other ones. Done.
Well, and plus then people going there would see the other stuff too. It's a win all around.
Yeah. Like this is cool. Let's check this out.
It would attract more people to the area and provide more like awareness for all of it. So anyways, all right. Yep. I complained for a whole podcast with Adam. So anyways, I do hope things change at some point in time. Check out everything. It'll all be linked in the description. All right. Gen Con was fun though. The bright side is I'm finally not sick. So basically when I recorded the show last week, that Wednesday night, I was starting to feel a little bit of like pressure and swelling on the old lymph nodes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I was like, uh-oh. And sure enough, the next day and through the entire weekend, I was wrecked. Like GTA 5 fell in the water, boom, wrecked. Okay. And thank you, Ninjon, who gave me that cold, by the way. I'm quite sure of it. And so, and then it took like Monday and Tuesday, I was basically the last 2 days I was recovering, you know, I mean, like I was feeling better, but it was like, you know, if you're coughing every 30 seconds for 2 straight days, you know how you feel when your entire body's like, okay, we've been doing a core workout nonstop for 48 hours. Right. So, you know, that's kind of what it felt like. Really did feel the tightness in the abs though. So that's good. Getting that strong core going. So that's nice, I suppose.
Yeah, that's life. It's okay. You'll be fine. And now for NashCon, if you're going, you're ready. You won't catch anything. You've gone through it all. You're done.
Exactly. So I said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm shields up. Yes, it was Ninjon's dad. That's correct. Yes, it's ultimately Ninjon's dad's fault. That is true. That is true. And he was clear with it. He told me, like, when I first met him, he's like, hey man, I'm not feeling great. And I was like, see what happens. Well, that's what happened.
What it is, yeah.
All right, let's talk about some hobby time. I have pictures for you, buddy.
Yeah.
So, speaking of ogres,
your guest from last week has inspired me to at least try a little bit harder whenever you graciously invite me to your show, Vince.
I'm happy to have you on. This is a big old collection of ogres I see here, brother.
Yes. So I'm primarily now, I would say, old world player. Sure. I still love my Sigmar, don't get me wrong, but like old world's probably the game I play more often than not. Clubmate Hunter, he was a big ogre player, painted this whole army up. With the current changes, things change, you know, new models coming in, old models going out. He pretty much sold me this for a criminally low cost because he knew I was going to use it. So I rebased it finally. So this is close to 4,000 points of
a lot of lead belchers, 4 iron blasters. We got, 4 riders here. You got gluttons for days, iron guts as well. Yeah, a bunch of tyrants. Man, it's great.
Yeah, it's clearly a Sigmar army going back to old world.
That's fine.
100%. But I've always loved ogres. I've always loved the views of them and the white dwarfs and like the battle tomes. Like I've always appreciated them, but I never committed. And he said, "Hey, Chuck, I'm looking to offload them." He's going to buy new ogres. He's working Night Haunt right now. He's great Night Haunt army, but he's like, "I'm going to do new ogres." he gave me a fantastic offer on these. I picked them up, I rebased them, and I got my first game with them this coming weekend. So just excited to be an ogre player finally. Like I'm not Halo in any way, shape, or form, but I can at least I can be I'm at the base of Halo's mountain. I can at least get to look upon the glory that is Halo's big.
That's true. Absolutely. No, totally understandable. I like how many of these seem to be in more of the older paint scheme too. They're like the original gray ogre paint scheme from like way back when they're launching sixth edition or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say it's primarily this army is primarily slap chop plus.
Got
what
it.
I would call it. So like, but I'm thrilled with it. I have a full ogre army that's ready to play, and like I will add a Stonehorn for sure because I love that kit. But like, it's just thrilled to have it.
Nice. Ninja Gumpy with a super chat saying, I need to paint some skulls on my Chaos Marauders for Old World. Well, I love it. Should I use a speed paint, or is there a simple way to use Pro Acryl and an oil wash? I'll give you 3 simple options, Ninja. Here you go. Not 1, not 2, 3 options. Okay. So option the first. Make sure you have a nice ivory dry brush undercoat on there, like in your sort of slap chop style or whatever, you know. Make sure it's undershaded, zenithaled in some way with a pretty intense, bright ivory. And then you can use, sure, like a speed paint or a Monument one-step paint. That's also fine. Something like your Monument one-step warm brown, okay? And thin that down a little bit, run it over the top, fine and good. You can even take your finger if you want and just kind of wipe right after you put it over there to make sure that the central part of the skull is nice and clean. Easy peasy. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is you can use like an oil wash. That's perfectly fine. Something like a brown, burnt sienna, burnt umber. All these things will work fine. Anything that's somebody doesn't know how to handle their sienna or their umber. And you're good. You kind of mix up a little thin oil wash. You run it over the top. You let it set. You wipe it off. You should varnish before you put oil washes on. Other than that, you're good to go. Option the third is you can play around with the noosh, which is Monument's like thing for their acrylic paints. You would just mix in with whatever brown in the line you want. You mix it like 50-50 with the noosh, or 60-30 with the noosh, realistically, more like. Not actually 50-50, probably, or 60-40. Little more paint than noosh. 2 paint to 1 noosh. I did this in a video with skeletons, so you can see how it likes. It makes your paint dry quite slowly, so you can put the brown over top and then wipe it away, and it'll leave just like the stain, and it'll leave it in there. So I actually did paint a bunch of skeletons using the noosh for the old world. As a matter of fact, they were like Tomb King skeletons. So you can go back and see that and pick whichever one of those 3 you think is going to suit your workflow the best and give you the look you want. All are valid. There you go. What washes work best over dark metal? I'm not going rusty. None. We do not wash metals. We intentionally place our shadow tones and our highlights, and we do so in a scratchy fashion. We do not wash metals. Okay.
Non-oil. Cover it non-oil. Move on with your life.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure. That's fine. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, like, just if you're intent on using a wash, an oil wash will do you very well, like something with a little black and blue and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Then you can wipe it away. You won't get staining.
Is your game tomorrow, or is your game in a month's time? If it's tomorrow, non-oil, do me. Move on with your life. If you got time, do Vince's, because it will look worlds better. 100%, 110%.
There you go. No, that's fair on all counts. This wasn't the only picture you sent me, though, Chuck. You sent me this picture as well. What is? We got some elf situations here.
I did. I mean, I always prove, like, I am a Daughters of Cain fan. I love Age of Sigmar in a multitude of areas, least of all the current GHB. However, the new blood hags are fantastic. Yes. I have them on my desk right now. I'm working through them. I have 30 of them I'm working through. That's more than I'll ever need. I just love painting Daughters of Cain. I don't care what the rule set is. I don't care what's going on. I will always paint blonde Daughters of Cain, just like I'll always paint, Sword Masters. So that's my current actual project of what I'm working on right now. The ogres are done. They're sitting there. They're ready to play. These are on my desk right now. So just wanted to show what is actually on the desk at the current moment, which will be done hopefully in a few weeks' time before I move on to the next of my backlog.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I'm an idiot. There's where we start the hobby section, because what I just painted is sitting like over there on top of my, You can't really see her, but there's like a tiny little goblin right here.
I see it.
And I
see
set
the
her up there
blob. I
because
see
I
the
was
blob.
moving stuff around my office, and then I just like left her there. But what I was specifically painting her with was with these,
Ooh.
which is the one-step set twos, as people mentioned. So I had the Monument Pro Acryl one-step paint set two. Affiliate code in the description if you want to order anything from Monument. You know, use that code. It helps a lot. At any rate, I played around with these, and let me tell you what. Full review will be incoming. I have everything recorded. I just need to get it all edited up and out at some point. But Chuck, if you're at all, I know it's not your thing, but if you're at all an Orc and Goblin fan out there, this one right here, this little yellow green, okay?
Yeah.
This is by far the best one-step turn an Orc into an Orc paint that I have seen out of contrast, out of the speed paints, out of this line. The reality is this is instant Goblin in a bottle. That's what this is.
See, I'm really curious, and I can't wait for you to put out the full episode because I will be watching it because I just did a Tale of Seven Warlords on my channel, the Strength Hammer channel. But my friend Terry used those for his Orc and Goblin that he's doing, and I had two people on that episode explain to me what those paints did. And I looked at them. I said, I feel like you're just explaining to me what basic paint does. I know you're not BSing me. I know that what you're talking about is magic that I cannot see, but you are unable to explain it. So I cannot wait for that to come out.
And you'll see it live and in action, my dog. Absolutely.
I'm already planning to buy some to try it. And like probably the Orc one was the one for sure because I've heard nothing about magic. That and the yellow I heard are the most magical.
Yeah, there's a couple different sort of yellow infused colors. There's a lot of interesting things going on here. So this is, somebody asked what the name of it is. It's Monument Pro Acryl one step set two. So there's a one step set one and a one step set two. At any rate, the other really fascinating color out of here that may hold some interest for you is down here. It's this dark turquoise, which is a lie. It's not very dark at all. This is intensity in 10 cities as like one of the problems with kind of speed paint, contrast paint kind of stuff normally is that you get very desaturated colors, right?
Right.
This one was like really, really, really punchy, and I liked it a lot. So if you like, I love turquoise as a color. And that one was really good. So anyways, there's lots of great stuff in there, but I take you through all of the paints in the video, obviously. So
I can't wait to see that video because I'll be buying some, and I can't wait for someone to show me what it actually does instead of explaining to me like it's basic paint, because I know what basic paint does, and that's all I hear.
Have you seen paint? Well, this is like that, but
better.
More. Okay, great, helpful. No, absolutely. All right. Okay, so that's been my hobby time. So look for a video coming on that very soon. And like I said, if you want to pick up, I think that is available now-ish. But if you want to see, the review will not be coming out this Saturday. It's not that soon, I promise you. But I'll get it edited and come out relatively soon. But at any rate, check it out. Okay. Boop boop. Next segment. AoS story. Oh, we got a super chat. Bobby 3000. Any of those V2 paints look good on smooth marine shapes? Well, Bobby 3000, I'm glad you asked. I actually talk about this in the video, as a matter of fact. There happens to be a color in here called Deep Blue. Okay. Also the name of my favorite chess-playing robot. Deep Blue. Let's say you've got, I don't know, 4,000 points of Smurfs that you need to paint. Ultramarines. Well, that's an afternoon. You're good to go. Call it done, buddy. Right here, everything you need. In fact, you put these two together, one from above and one from below, and boy, oh boy, job's a good one. They're going to look amazing. So there you go. I do talk about it in the video. So there you go.
Amazing. Awesome. I can't wait. I've not been excited for a paint line for quite a while. Ever since you and I think Ninjon had your your specific. I picked up yours and his, but like this is like a new paint thing.
I hope to get you excited again. I hope to get you excited again. Not just about this, but we'll see. We'll see in the future. There may be other things happening. All right.
Alrighty.
So let's talk about that AOS story. Yesterday and today. Yesterday is so far away, but tomorrow's something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You get it. All right. History.
Yeah.
Long ago, before the age of man. All right, now here's my quick summary, Chuck, and I want to get your take before we get into the beat by beat of this. I think Age of Sigmar has made some great large moves in narrative over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is unfortunately outside the main books. I don't mean that like your individual battle tomes don't really talk about much or advance much. They kind of just say like, here's kind of this force right now, and you'll get like little tidbits here or there.
Right.
But it's mostly in like these series or even further removed, right? In like the Black Library novels that not enough people or many people or whatever read, that kind of thing, right? The main thrust has been through the campaign series, right? So kind of at the end-ish of each edition, we get these like campaign type books or over the course of the edition or something. Usually it's been at the end, which sucks. And each one has had some really major beats, but they often leave like a lot of dangling threads.
Hanging chads. Yeah.
Yeah. That are just like there, and maybe they get picked up, maybe they don't. Who knows? Right.
Well, I will also say that a lot, even recently, which I'll bring it up as it becomes relevant to our conversation, but White Dwarf has had the most movement of lore compared to the Black Library and the general Battletome narrative books than anything else. I will say that because they're at least talking about it, even if they're not actually making a drastic change at the end of the story. But there's consequence happening in a lot of stuff in White Dwarf that apparently me and maybe two other people are reading, if I'm honest with you.
Exactly. And that's just it, right? Like, what are you looking for in your lore? Okay. Because there are sort of two different things. Are you looking for stuff that moves the story of the whole world forward? Or are you looking for stuff that just opens up the world a little bit larger and says, here's what it's like to live in this particular corner of the mortal realms and what that world is like, right? So, for example, the Callus and Toll stories are great stories. They don't like incredibly reshape the realms in any way, but they give you a great insight into like the nature of just kind of how the world works and what it feels like, and the patina, the smell, the touch, the taste of the thing, right? I can't think of the name of the book, but the one about young Korgus Call. Okay, red something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Somebody will put it in the comments. Somebody put in the comments the Korgus Call novel that I can never remember the name of. Red something. No, it's not Red Sun. That's the Superman book. I always get it confused with that kind of thing. At any rate, that's a good book, but it's like, here's just a window into what it was like in sort of this age of chaos, right? Red Feast. Right.
Okay. Well,
okay.
I mean, I personally, I look at things like Age of Sigmar 1.0, 2.0.
Yeah.
So like,
that's what these campaign series really capture, right?
Yes.
They move the beats forward. Like the world has changed.
I'll say, yeah, like if I look at like Old World, it's a finite setting. Now, granted, there's a lot of nuance you can get in there. We're exploring that with Old World. There's so much more. Like you could spend the next 60 years in Old World and still not explore it all. I get that. I understand that. However, there's a freedom we've been given with Age of Sigmar. There's a reason, like Terathi, she is a real character. She has like one anecdote in a battle tome, but she was created, one, for me, but two, mostly because I was given license on this setting and allowed myself to make a real believable character based upon what I was given within like 1.0, 2.0.
Sure.
3.0, I think even did a better job of that too, continuing that forward. 4.0 feels like it's dropping the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
But there is a large swath of believability to create your own space currently that has not existed in any other fantasy setting, even 40K.
I agree. Completely agree. By the way, Dagfin, I agree with Grey Boy. Like, no, I don't think they're going to suddenly soft reset the entire setting they've spent a decade building up.
No.
I think I mean, we'll talk about it. They've made major narrative moves in these campaign things. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this show today, because we're approaching, like, it is T-minus a month or two until theoretically we start to get news of what's coming. Right?
True.
Because we are in the last 9-ish months of the edition. Right? Which means it's time for us to pack in a narrative book way too much, way too fast. Like, they generally start those in Q4, late Q3, September, October timeframe, and then run them through to, March or April or something like that of next year. Okay. And so what I want to do is look back at how these have sort of progressed in the past. What were the major beats? What's still hanging out there that hasn't been answered, right? And what we would want to see going forward. That's basically what I want to do. So consider this my best impression, a poor one at that, certainly, of 2+ tough of our good buddy Doug, right? So the nicest man in Warhammer. All right.
100%.
Okay. So, by the way, I think this is the failure. When I talked earlier about execution, I think this is the failure, because these like narrative books come out, they're crammed into 6 months. They feel so extraneous and optional because we know they're at the end of the edition. So like any potential rules they have are either going to evaporate or go away or whatever, right? There's often a lot of good story in them. We'll do the beat by beat story breakdowns. Vince's story time will come back, everybody. Don't worry. Vince sarcastically recounting AoS lore will happen again. It's a once every 3-year celebration. But it's like, I just, why is this not spread out where we could see it evolve over the course of the edition? It makes no sense to me. That's the failure of execution to me.
And it's 100% because from 3rd into 4th, like, okay, the Skaven have erupted from Akshi. That is massive. I've seen the map. That is Titanic level event. I don't know. It was
the picture on this video's thumbnail, and it's crazy. From like the walls of Hammerhall, there's the Mount Everest just showed up, full of warpstone.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what happens. Like, not
right.
Let's be honest. I'm gonna call it out as it is, and I don't know if it's because there's too much space for the rules to have to be written and not enough time or credence given to the people handling the lore, or maybe it's mixed in a way that doesn't make sense anymore. But ever since 3rd edition, whoever's in charge of pushing the narrative forward has failed miserably on the Games Workshop's side because it is boring, it's going nowhere, and it is meaningless. Yes. I have imagined more exciting things in my head that are plausible and realistic to be written down than what they've actually given us. Yep. And it's not to say like, okay, that's fine. Things are going to happen. I work in a corporation. I hate it, but you gotta live there. I hope that they adjust for this new edition to show us a true, like if they want to give us it's a new edition, here's a big scale epic event. Actually give it to us. Everyone's like, oh, we're going to change the setting. We're going to wipe everything. Like, no, we're not. And also, who cares? Like, even what they said is still within the realm of possibility of Sigmar, that it's fine. It's still, like, basic. I think they can give us something so much more, and it won't even matter because I think a lot of people have mentally separated out the competitive game from the story game at this point, which is perfectly okay. No problem. Because honestly, I think it's probably going to be a better game if we do that going forward.
Yeah. Grey Boy with a super chat saying, I'm planning on making a video on why the Mortal Realms is the perfect wargaming sandbox for player homebrew. Does that sound like a good concept? Yes, it does. And
yes,
deeper, I would say that's why I think Soulbound is actually a really fun RPG, because the Mortal Realms are like a legitimately amazing place to roleplay in. Okay. And that's like telling those zoomed in stories that don't need to move the whole world forward, where you can just like tell a cool story about some characters doing some fun stuff. I've played multiple Soulbound games and had a great time in all of them because the Mortal Realms are like really, really fun to roleplay in because I also like Planescape and other things like that. And it's basically that.
Yeah.
All right. I want to address something else here. Matt Hatfield. There we go. That's what it is. Respectfully, Vince, feels like you're putting your head in the sand. Read the AoS 5 rumors. Multi-source and the leakers got the cities line 100% correct. And Jim Kerman says, yeah, are we going to discuss the reset rumors at all? Seems like you can't ignore it. I mean, I can. I can ignore anything I want. It's super easy.
Well, we can talk about it.
But like, sure. I'm not trying to minimize it. Let me say it this way. We'll cover the history. Okay. And it's not that they haven't done crazy big things. They have. C destroying the old world and making Age of Sigmar with no good plan of what you were doing. That was a pretty big, crazy thing, right? So it's not that I don't believe they can't do big things or that they wouldn't zig when I think they're going to zag, right? My statement is that, like, regardless of some big, I'll tell you why I would be disappointed in it. Because it would be cheap. Okay? It's a cheap narrative move. Good storytelling has consequences, result from decisions that characters in your world make in an organic and natural way. That's good storytelling. Okay? Like, and a lot of how the story of how Marathi has been handled is a great example of good storytelling, where she had goals, they intersected with things she was willing to sacrifice or not, she gained and or lost, things changed, the world shifted around her because she was powerful enough to bring some of what she wanted to life, right? If you come in out of nowhere, and there's not really anything in the lore right now that would say, like, and we'll talk about some of the things they've set up and haven't paid off at the end, right? And none of those say we blow up the entire Mortal Realms because that's what we've been teasing, and just flip a switch and suddenly that happened, right? Like, we all loved Endgame. I know you mentioned the Marvel thing, but like, look, everybody loved Endgame. That movie made like $2 billion or something crazy. It's insane. It was the most money-making movie of all time. Because, like, we had a decade of buildup to Thanos and all of this, right? Like, they worked this in. If, like, story 1 was the Cosmic Cube exist and story 2 had been the Infinity War, I worry about how that would have fallen, right? That's why I don't know what's going to happen with Doomsday. Although we have been setting up multiversal incursion stuff for a while, so who knows? Maybe they'll pay that off well.
Yeah, it's probably a money grab. Let's move on.
But regardless of,
I don't know for Doomsday. Yeah,
yeah. Regardless of Marvel, my point is that, like, if they just come in and suddenly blow up the whole world and be like, this is new AoS now. It's like this. There's no Mortal Realms anymore. It's just like something else. I'm gonna be like, well, that's cheap. That's not interesting to me.
Well, see, here's the thing that I say. Like, I heard the rumors, and as a Sigmar Old World fan, I was excited for something so drastic. Because, and Vince, you're going to feel this immensely. What was the last major narrative hook going into this edition?
Going into this edition? Yeah.
Yes, the tagline. Do you remember what the tagline was?
I don't remember what the tagline was.
Sigmar.
Oh, Sigmar lied. Yes, of course. Yeah, sure.
And let's look how that paid off. Nothing. So guess what? Whatever rumors are out there of what may change, 25% of that is the actual truth, is what I view, because Sigmar lied, and like, yeah, we know Sigmar lied, but there's no consequences of that. If they decided to really drastically reshape the Mortal Realms, that's fine for me, because it's still the Mortal Realms. It's still this new setting, and I will exist within it with my own armies, my Terathi lore, all that sort of stuff. That's why I'm like, I think that's why Vince probably passes over, like, not concerning himself with the in-depth review of these crazy lore adjustments. Even if they're true, they're not as drastic as you feel. And to be fair, they're going to be just fine and exciting.
Yeah,
worst
like,
case.
I hope to be very clear. Yeah, about the rumors. I hope they do some big stuff. I want change. Yeah. I want there to be, like, major tumult in the world and, like, things to reshift and switch around and be different, and people who are winning now lose and stuff like that, right? Like, yeah, man, I'm down for that. And when we kick 100%. Off this next narrative cycle, they start setting up some big changes and we see, like, what's coming or what's going to happen, and they do properly, like, set the tone for whatever that is, then they can get me on board. My point is, like, I don't know what to speculate about at this point because I don't know what it means, right? I don't know how to review or put that into context.
they've shown fastball and have thrown like a moon ball twice now, it feels.
Right.
So it's like I don't know how to be excited for it. Trust me, my pinnacle of what I've hoped for since early second edition is they take one realm, pick any of the realms that we haven't explored yet, because there's plenty, and pick one of the realms we have explored. What if that realm crashes into the other realm? That
Sure.
would be fantastic. You can base the entire edition around that and never leave it, and everyone would be like, "This is so cool and exciting." However, based upon what they've shown with the past couple editions on rules as well as narrative, I don't think they're fit to handle that sort of level of complexity.
Yeah, I mean, what we know is going to be the case is they have to keep a home for all the armies. Okay.
Sure.
Because
I
everybody
get that 100%.
It's a product line that they have to sell SKUs of. So like the lore has to exist within some kind of constrained thing. That doesn't mean you can't do big things, right?
Right.
Okay. They've shown themselves unwilling to like permanently, dumpster major characters because of that very reason. Okay. Which is fine. Again, it's like comics.
Right.
Superman can't actually die
No,
and
you can
stay
get rid
dead.
of You can
We
kill
all want
Kragnos, everybody.
Kragnos dead. Okay. We all want that.
He's fine.
It's not happening.
He deserves it. He wants it too. Let's be honest.
I'm sure he does. We all do. Never has there been more alignment than kill this idiot. But it's like I think that then is the challenge, right? So I'm interested to see where they go. And like I said, we'll talk about some of the dangling participles there. Okay. And yes, by the by, truly, I would mark among one of the biggest failures that we have these incredible, vast mortal realms to explore. Somebody mentioned this earlier. And here we are, sitting in the same three realms we cannot get out of. They just, like, how have we not done major explorations of light, shadow, metal, right? Just like any of these things, right? Spent more time in the all points, which is obviously like very interesting, or the 8 points or whatever it is now, right?
Honestly, I thought we'd spend the entire edition 90% in the all points with how it was set up.
Sure.
Which was like, I get it. Cool. It's great. Great. Wonderful.
Yeah. There's so much they could be doing, but we're stuck on like the same 3 cities in the same 3 places. It's like the rest of the realms are treated like flyover country between New York and LA, basically. Right?
Yeah,
okay.
They stop in Chicago, which is Gur. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes. That gets occasional nod. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Chuck, let's go back to the very beginning, my man. Here we go. Do you remember? That's right. Let's go back. Okay. Yeah, that is true. Same 3 realms. Apparently, all the important order characters are focused on like 1/20th of Akshi. You are vastly overstating it by saying 1/20th. If you've ever looked at the whole map of Akshi, this entire story has happened in like, I'll be generous, like the Keys and Southern Florida. Okay. And the entire world is Akshi.
And a random part in South Carolina, but Marathi left there. So she's down in Florida now. She's like, I'm a Florida girl now.
Okay. So let's go back to the Realm Gate Wars. Do you remember the Realm Gate Wars, Chuck? So this consisted of 4 books. The Quest for Gol Maraz, The Balance of Power,
5 books.
God Beasts, and the All Gates. Okay. What did I miss?
No, but you have the first book, which is just Age of Sigmar.
Oh, sure. That's true. Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry.
No.
4.5. Let's call it 4.5.
Actually, yeah, no, fair enough.
It's exactly what I did. Sorry.
No, that's cool. You're right. This is really the series, and you're exactly right that it was tied to like the core book very tightly, because this one did happen not at the end of sort of first or whatever that means. Some of it did, obviously, over time. By the end, we got there. Especially in some of the ancillary products. This one had more like weird ancillary products than any others, because like I'm listing these like sort of 4 main books, but there was a whole bunch of other weird crap going on at this time, just like stories in random places that were all over the map. And this really set up the mortal realms as we came to know them. Right?
Right.
That's what this was.
I would say, really, the way to look at it from a basic perspective is this 5-book series was more or less, say you did took a college class on Greek mythology.
Sure.
Great. And then yeah, and then after that, you took the more detailed version, which was then playing God of War. So you saw the first-hand perspective. That's kind of how I view it. So like this is like it's wild, it's free. There's a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff. There's a lot of stuff you're like, we'll just assume I understand what that means. But yes, it was a
Yep.
good time. It was a fun time. It was a wild time.
Yes. Here we've got like this literally starts with like Sigmar returning back after whatever 500 years of chaos ruling the mortal realms and sending down Vandus Hammerhand and going after, establishing the foothold in the mortal realms, and they hunt out for Galmaraz, and like all of that happens because it had been lost for so long. Alariel takes
Finding
her war
Alariel.
form. Yep. When we get her,
Yep.
in the realm of Nurgle, right? That's when you get like Tornus originally, like him redeemed or whatever, right?
Yep.
That's in that whole series there. Although he didn't get as many for many years later, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
We get setups for like the Fire Slayers. This is where KO get introduced, right? Because they suddenly show up like out of nowhere in Shamon, and like start shooting things. Okay. We also get Marathi, who like we get her whole background and setup and story between the core book and these books, right? Where she
we get half of it. We don't realize she's a snake beast yet.
No,
we get
like references to it, but not the full thing. Yeah.
But we get Malarian combined with his mount dragon Seraphon, which different army. Let's move on from that.
Sure.
And then we hear about Tyrion, but we don't hear about Teclis, oddly enough.
Yeah.
So it's all over the place. And to be fair, I think the dwarves had the best time during this because they were the most based as far as a grounded army that we could understand what was going on based upon what them and their gods had done or were doing.
Yeah, this is also where you get like obviously there's a book called God Beast. This is also where you get like the cool God Beast lore. Like there's the one realm gate that's like in the mouth of a giant God Beast that Chaos is like propped open and Gordorak goes after it, or like crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's like walking around and they've like chained the mouth open and stuff so they can use it to move their troops.
The power level is insane beyond comprehension.
Yes.
Of what we know today. Yes.
Yeah. I love it. This is like the epic fantasy that I fell in love with. This is just like gods are fighting and stuff is happening and like, man, big things are going down, right?
Yep.
This is also where you get the founding of all the cities of Sigmar, right? So that also happens in this time period.
Yep. The original Seasons of War. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, to me, this series was much more about like setting the table, introducing the players, and laying out sort of the epic fantasy that's at hand. I will state at the very end of this, you do get hints of what would become AoS 2, because the very end of this is where they included the story of like Nagash, who like refuses to go and help the larger push into like the all points at that time. And like he's got the skeletons out there gathering grave sand from the edge of Shaiish to like build the Black Pyramid or whatever, right? And so you didn't really know where that was going, but they were teasing AoS 2.
It was wild swings to see essentially what the community would accept as far as grandness, which I think like Nagash having an undead legion of carrying 1 grain of sand at most is a lot to ask of a community base.
Sure.
It was acceptable, but there's other things where it's like, okay, so Archeon was able to shove his sword into the temple of a god beast that's bigger than like Washington, D.C. and start to control it. But then the Fire Slayers could create a chain with a rune to control past that. That was like where it was like, all right, it's a little bit weird. Like we don't know where the power level's at. So
sure,
I think this was a good setting point, as you said, like establishing like things are crazy and wild. They're going to settle, and we're reaching the settling point now.
Yeah. Gray Boy says the thing about Warhammer is it's in the same boat as Transformers. All the lore is just a way to market toys. So when the toys change, so does the lore, and all the toys have been changing a lot lately. Hey, look, that might be true, but there's a lot of great Transformers lore I love at the same time. So, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
also, you leave my
cool.
toys alone. They're fun. I love them.
Sure. Like, yeah, it's fine. There was a couple comic
Yeah,
runs I really liked that did some nice stuff with Transformers in the early or in the 2000s that I thought was really, really good. Obviously, I didn't mind the original lore of the Autobots were the worker drones and on Cybertron, and the Decepticons were the warriors and soldiers, and they rose up in a shared civil war against the Quintessons and overthrew their harsh masters, and then the Decepticons turned on the Autobots and all that kind of crap. It's great. It's great. Who doesn't love that crap? All right. Anyways, guilty or innocent. So, anywho. So what matters to GW is sales. Do we think a lore reset or simply better stories would improve sales? I think it would, yes, I think it would help with investment. I mean, 40K people are really obsessed with lore. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that having a narrative like in this, the advantage of the Realm Gate Wars is it was not shoved toward the end of 1.0. It really was dispersed over the whole time period, that 2.5-ish years, basically. It really was pushed out over everything. And I do think that helps. When you have products out there that can keep people tied into the story and how it's, evolving, I think that can matter for people's investment in the property. Right.
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I think the thing that could be exciting is not necessarily a full reset, but it is very odd that we have such direct connection with our gods in Sigmar. I only say that only because we come from fantasy, essentially, like natural progression, where we didn't. It was very removed. We had access to the gods' powers on occasion, specific things. Yeah. So if Games Workshop was to slowly over this edition or harsh in this edition switch us to be more removed from those gods, I'm not opposed to it, because it doesn't make it a less setting. It makes it a more interesting setting. Who can access those gods better? And maybe you have those things where, hard part, they don't want to stop selling Teclis. They don't want to stop selling Nagash. They don't want to stop selling Marathi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you remove those characters but keep those models? Is it a separate system? Yeah, it's that's the hard part. They've really written the opposite of what fantasy was. So how do they create a setting where they can maybe create it interesting? Because I play Daughters of Cain. Marathi's right here. She's right here.
Yeah.
She better be good. She better be good, because if she's not good, why am I playing this game? She's my literal god with everything else in the army. So it's a hard place to be in.
Yeah, here's the thing. I have a very simple answer to this question, actually. Okay. Because I do think that the interesting part about Age of Sigmar is that it isn't grounded fantasy. It's not sword and sorcery. It's not gritty. And I think trying to make it so is stupid, is my honest answer. I'm not saying there aren't gritty parts of the world. I'm sure living in some of the lower areas of Hammerhall Akshi is not always the best time, right? Okay. So you can have some down and dirty adventures. I'm not saying that.
The Gutrock books are exactly that, by the way.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Which is fine.
Yep.
In the same way, you could tell a story about a random soldier in the Iliad or the Odyssey or something, and it would have been a very different story than if you're talking about the way that those Greek myths were spun. And ultimately, that's what I'm saying. I think AoS works as a sort of paradigm to match toward, you mentioned earlier, towards Greek myth or epic fantasy, toward mythic fantasy, okay? Where the gods are there and present and taking a really active role in the day-to-day life of the central protagonists, right? The protagonists don't tend to be the gods, though sometimes they are in some of the myths. But the gods are often your foes or your aides, or you're caught in their games, right?
Right.
And to me, I think that's actually really cool and unique as a sort of like, method of fantasy storytelling. I mean, Greek myth is very focused on the gods being present, and it seems like people like Greek myth. That Odyssey movie did pretty good at the box office from everything I saw. And deeper than that, those myths have endured now for 2,500 years of human retelling, right? I would say that's a pretty enduring story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell really good, enduring quality stories and still have the gods being a heavy part of it, right? And to me, like, to answer your question of in the game, you just make them expensive. It's really that easy.
Well, so I think it's not even making them expensive. I think you take the Horse Heresy approach. You want to play a Primarch, 3,000 point game. You want to play a 2,000 point game, which is a standard match play, no Primarchs allowed. I think that's a better, easy source because you're not forced to overcost a god model. I still think Marathi's overcost, but
I don't think it should be overcosted. I think they should be ripping. I just think they should be 700 to 800 points, which is just naturally almost impossible for a model to make its points back. Like, make them rip. Just make it like they don't play well into a 2,000 point game because they can't be everywhere doing everything, killing that many things.
At that point, you could take Old World and be like, okay, hey, you can only have this many points into a character. Like you could. There's so many different ways to write it that other game systems are working on within the Warhammer space to create that exactly in a more clean, cohesive way. I never take Marathi. I should, but I don't because I don't want to. I'd rather take more witch elves. But
no, I understand. I don't tend to put Marathian armies either, but I get it. I don't want to shut people off from having the option. So there you go. Okay.
Right. But you can also have an event that's a bigger event of 3,000 point armies. You're playing 2 games a day. Fine. Great. Have a good time.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not saying make them unplayable. I'm saying make them expensive.
Yes.
So it's hard for them to be a fully synergistic piece because it's hard for you to make back 800 points with an 800 point model. That's all. Like, you're just tilting it, the win, the competitive edge, slightly against them. That's not making them unplayable. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay.
I say the current edition of Marathi, by the way, is the first version of her where she's not a essential part of the army, I feel.
I mean, I don't know. Have you looked at the stats? Marathi's been tearing up tables for a while now. She is a nightmare.
No, she's good. She's good, but I think you can still win without it. Whereas prior editions, if you wanted to actually compete, you needed her 100%. Now I think it's like 80%, but that's different topic, different day. You'll bring someone smarter for competitive play for that.
No, you're okay. It's all good. Grey Boy also with an interesting idea. I do want to shout out. You could have armies of renown that bring them in a big way. That's also fully fun. I don't hate that at all. I like armies of renown are an underexplored area. I've said this 100 times. There you go. So
it's like Arcane Journal within the book.
Yeah, it's great. More of that, please. I was so happy when I flipped open the Ogre book and it had 3 armies of renown. I was like, oh my God, we broke it, guys. We did it. We realized we could actually do more than 2. So, okay. All right. So the Realm Gate Wars came to a close with the launch of AoS 2, which was the Soul Wars, when basically the Skaven saved the world. You're welcome, Mortal Realms. We did it again for you. Congratulations. You would all be dead if it wasn't for us yet again.
Sure.
For like the 3rd time. So at any rate, but the Black Pyramid goes off and blah, 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 blah. Endless spells, all of this stuff. Okay. So that brings us through 2nd edition and into the next major narrative expansion, which for my money is the absolute banger of narrative expansions, the campaigns. And that is, Chuck, Broken Realms, Marathi, Teclis, Be'lakor, Kragnos. This was the Shiz Knight. Okay. Now that I have seen that on TV, that is the Shiz Knight. This was the set right here. Like, we hit the mountaintop and apparently there was nowhere to go but down because this is it.
I say this was the release of books where I was stressing to make sure I got the limited edition of every single one. And I did. And I never want to do that again in my life because, my God, every Saturday for like a year, or every other Saturday, however long it was, but like it was just a nightmare. But like, yeah, Malign Importance into Broken Realms, and Broken Realms is the quintessential. We're doing something interesting with the realms, and it has meaning, and you will understand what's happening the whole way through. You'll be like, "What's next? Holy crap!" Not here's an anecdote. We will never pick it up again.
Right. Yeah, it should be noted. I'm focusing on the actual Broken Realm series here, but you're absolutely right. There was like Malign Portents happening beforehand in the middle of the edition. We actually did get some. We still had some kind of action in the middle.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And my goodness, Malign Portents. It was the last time I think we've got character specific models that we were all excited for, not just like, okay, here we go. Here's our character specific in a unit.
Yeah. So, what happens in these 4 books? Just quick summary. Let's all refresh let's all drink deep in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. So here we go. Book 1, Marathi. Marathi takes over Anvilgard, renames it Harcuron, ascends, winning. Just pure W's she's putting up from start to end of this book. Okay, that's pretty much
all
the
your
story.
all your new pretty cog forts. Yeah, she killed one. Sorry, we didn't know what it looked like, but she destroyed one herself. The end. Move on. She's better than that.
That happened. She just came down and ate one of those. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Book 2, Teclis and Nagash showdown, where Teclis marches into the realm of Shaiish, goes nuts. Nagash and Archon get absolutely dumpstered by the Lumineth working together with the cities who show up at the last minute for the assist and fire and kill Nagash with laser beams.
Yes.
That's However,
Teclis got a wound of death because he has to remain sickly no matter what happens in his entire existence. So he can still be not the perfect example of elfdom.
Correct.
Have we talked about that since? No, we have not. No. We've not. Move on.
Unimportant.
It's there.
By the way, Nagash obviously comes back because he can reform. I mean, he's Nagash, whatever. That's fine. He's a god. He's the Lord of Death.
Takes a while.
Yeah. So he's kind of down for the count for a while. I would love it if when he came back, we did a new Nagash model and he came back like Mumra, the ever living, and he just like ripped open the thing and he was just super jacked now. Okay.
Yes.
Like, I would love it if we got an update that was jacked Nagash. He's like, I figured out where I went wrong. And he's just been spending like 100 years pushing plates, just building mass. Like,
oh my God, that would be...
He's cutting hard and now he's just tight.
Nagash is the perfect place to do that because no matter what you do with him, the ego's the driver and it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, my magic wasn't enough last time. I clearly need to be physically powerful too. And so he just goes and gets ripped.
He's like, I'm going to arm wrestle Archeon and then dumpster his army.
That's right. I'm saying, I just think like, it's time we can get a new Nagash model. Like, let's do it. Let's get ripped Mumra Nagash, right? That was always the funniest thing about Mumra because he's like little tiny lich, little dude. And then he would like, transform or unleash or whatever. And boom, no, man, I'm secretly jacked. Like, that's great.
Hey, Games Workshop, you want me to actually play Death finally? Give me jacked Nagash. I am freaking in.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. You just see him down in like the basement and he's just got like these huge, like, cause he's massive, right? He's like so big. He's got like these massive bells. There's just like huge stones hanging off the edge. Like skeletons are putting more weights on and pulling these chains and stuff like that. No. Oh, it's great.
No, he's gotta be benching double inverse black pyramids.
There you go.
That's what his plates
that's
are.
It.
That's what it is.
There it is. Okay. So model the new Nagash after Jared Leto is Skeletor. Exactly. Sure. Yeah.
And then they take what's his oh my God, his main guy.
Archon the Black.
Archon, the one that got dumpstered into the light by
that Eltharion absolutely just housed. Yes.
Archeon takes him because we don't know what happened with him after that. Archeon Nagash takes him. Archon takes Archon, makes him into a protein shaker.
Sure.
That's what
Absolutely.
he comes back in. He's just holding the gains. He's just holding the gains. Not Archeon. Yeah.
There you go. No,
Archeon's
it's
already
fine.
jacked. We know that, everybody.
Of course, of course. All right. Next up, book 3. It's good, but it's funny because this is the one where I care about the character on the, like, whatever. We'll get to it. All right. Book 3. Be'lakor darkens the skies, creates the whole like clouds that the stormcast lightning can't pass through. Which also basically then didn't matter. I mean, my impression when you hear it in that initial story, it seems like he's darkened the realms. What we come to learn is that he's created like small, occasionally localized storms that do this.
Yeah. It's, hey, your local state construction crew has put up a roadblock. Oh, I'll just take this 2-minute detour around it. That's what it was. It was like, if you're reading it, you're going, oh my gosh, things are changing. Stormcast, what are you going to do? And it's just like, oh, we've answered it already. We are 3 steps ahead. It's like, what's the point?
Right.
Why did you even write these words if you solved it within the same book?
Oh yeah, it is like a non-problem. He attacks Vindicar.
You want a new armor? Just make new armor. Who cares? We'll buy the models.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it punches straight through. We're good. Yeah, so he attacks Vindicarum. Obviously, the real reason why we care about book 3 is not the Be'lakor story. This is, I wrote Battle Todd, but that's not right. It's Battle Toad. There we go. The real reason to care about book 3 is because that is where we get Battle Toad Gothic from Be'lakor, book 3, when Lord Croak loads up into his spaceship and starts getting in a space battle with a silver tower, and they're like fighting in the skies over a book. That happens in there.
Yeah. I would say the only other important part of this whole story was Be'lakor being afraid of Grugni.
Sure. Oh, yeah, that did happen. Yeah, he saw Grugni. He was just like a normal deckhand. He saw
Yep, and said, oh, I'm out. Which was good because that, like, we came to appreciate Bellacor's power within this setting, which was a really good writing of the setting of this book. And then when he saw Grugni as a normal dwarf hiding, going, oh, you know what? Never mind. That gave us a good appreciation of what Grugni is capable of, even though the KO despise him. And obviously the Fyreslayers don't worship him. So it's like, okay, here's this god of power, obviously with the Stormcast, but the dwarves don't have any respect for him right now. Hope for change of like, they'll see that in the near future.
Yep. Absolutely. Oh, that's like we can add that one to the list. Last book, book 4, Kragnos. Ugh. Alariel unleashes life magic to purge the realms, accidentally awakens Kragnos, oopsie doodle, and then he, along with the other leaders of destruction, attack Excelsius and do a bunch of damage.
And then Marathi beats him anyway, so...
Yeah.
Marathi and Croak. Sorry, Marathi and Croak.
The big frog did help again. He was very... Croak is like always around. He does have the gift of foresight, so I suppose that helps.
He's all powerful. He's all knowing, and he's the best. I'm trying to think of what like therapist possible because of Lariel.
Oh, you're right.
Which we'll get to eventually.
Yes, somebody said it wasn't Croak; it was just the regular Slann. Yeah, whatever. The Seraphon spaceships got in a fight. That's the important part. It's Battletoad Gothic. Okay. So, like, Broken Realms was really great. And I mean, boy, has a series. Like, the first 2 books of this were just really, really, really strong. Right? And all of them were fun. Like, I don't want to say otherwise. I really liked this series. I thought it was very fun. And moreover, each book had a nice, like, journey to different parts of the realms. Right? Like, we weren't in, like, one place. Like, Marathi's initial story is largely around Anvilgard / Har-Kuron, right? And what happens there. And then we end up in Shaiish and in Haish and stuff like that as we go between the realm of death and the realm of light, and so on and so forth, right? Vindicarum, Excelsius, like, we're kind of jumping all over the realms, doing cool stuff, meeting different people. We've got, like, Be'lakor talking to what's her name? The lady of Lady Linder,
Oh.
Lady O, stuff like that. Just like a lot of neat character interactions that happen, and it happens kind of all over the realms, right?
Right.
And I really like that. It gave you it did big things. It had good characters. They did cool things. The characters did cool things, and there was neat things that resulted from it.
Well, it left off big plot points. Like, hey, Sigmar's not happy that Marathi took Anvilgard, but he's going to deal with that later.
Right.
And the first place I saw it dealt with? In last month, so July 2026, White Dwarf. There was a story about the Stormcast. I can't remember his name. I apologize. The Stormcast, he was the one that Be'lakor set free, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
In the Realm Gate Worms, yeah. He came back. He didn't come back. He didn't go anywhere. He was still there with the Anvilgard survivors, and they were trying to retake Anvilgard from Marathi. And it ended up in a final duel, not with Marathi, but with a chosen of Marathi versus him to see who would take Anvilgard back. She declared it with the Cainite level of hey, this is whoever wins gets this. And Cainites won. But I'm reading this White Dwarf article going, oh my God, this is huge. And I let myself believe that any side could win, which really Marathi won, and the other ones were just kicked out so that we can continue this ongoing saga.
Sure, of course.
That was the most important and biggest update to that storyline I saw, which that's pre-2020, isn't it? Yeah, it's pre-2020.
Yeah, pre-2020. Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah, so that's
or no, it was
7-8
it was
years.
2020 when that happened. Yeah.
Was it 2020? Okay, so 6 maybe 7 years. But in a White Dwarf throwaway, I never saw an article about that.
Sure.
Holy crap. Really? What are you doing? Sorry.
Yep. No, I gotcha. All right. So the Broken Realms come to an end, and of course that leads us into 3rd edition. But wait. There's something that you may have forgotten. Do you remember Thondia?
I do remember a little bit. Happened? I remember Thondia was a place. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did forget about this.
I told you there would be things you forgot. I told you.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, so this happened in the middle of 3rd edition, or early 3rd edition, really. We got Thondia, and this was meant to be I would imagine this was meant to be a larger product, right? That this was supposed to be some kind of thing we were going to do going forward. And it was I would say
this is where we got the incarnations too.
That's correct.
The only incarnation. That's where it came in. Yeah.
Yep. So I would say this was basically a misfire. We haven't seen anything like it since. And I think it was a misfire wholly because of the fact that it gave us the incarnates, and the incarnates were so universally hated that people just went ugh to this entire thing, right?
Yeah, the fact that we have one is too many.
Right. I have to know at some point in time, Chuck, we're going to get a random model in some army or some new endless spell, or for some reason that's a giant spider. This will happen. And it's going to be the other incarnate that they had produced but never released. It's just sitting in a warehouse.
So I am no longer a playtester for Games Workshop. I still help them run events on occasion when I can, all that sort of stuff. So completely removed. But I was a playtester at the time of this release. What I can say, without worry or consequence, I playtested more than one incarnate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
End of my topic there.
There you go.
Extrapolate as you will, Vince.
Sure, absolutely. So I can't wait for that to happen. It's gonna happen at some point. But there were other stuff that was happening here, it was largely obviously focused on Thondia, this particular era place within the realm of the beasts. Sure, and you had Yndrasta.
That's when we also were thinking we're going to explore a realm in depth at a
Yes.
time.
Right.
And we would shift to something else
Which
before
made sense
nonsense happened.
conceptually,
Which is
right?
great.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll focus on a realm. Then we'll really dive deep over the course of the edition, right? Like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do
Yes.
that. Right. That sounds fun. Yeah, I'm in for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you had like Yandrasta being a big part of the story. Like she was investigating all the like mutations and strangeness that were going on. She was hunting across there, you know, that kind of thing. So like there was stuff happening. But yeah, clearly this misfired, and I blame the Incarnates, like specifically the Incarnate specifically. Because it was so toxic. Everyone hated it, and there you go. The rest of the line was shelved, and I suspect they were like, well, never mind. That's too complicated. We didn't sell enough of this book, or it was an experiment, or whatever happened, but they gave up on that idea. So there you go.
Sure. Yeah.
Which then brings us to the Dawnbringers, the series that is 2 books too long. Okay. So
yeah. The we got hopeful again, and this is where we finally learned our lesson.
Yeah.
Series. Yeah.
So this is the most recent series that brought an end to 3rd edition, obviously. Okay.
Yep.
And it was the story of the 2 dumbest groups of humans executing the worst plan in the history of the mortal realms. That's effectively what it was.
Primarily Zenestra. Yep. Got it.
And yeah, sure. Exactly.
I hate her so much.
She's so stupid in that. She's just portrayed so dumb in that story. So awful.
She is such a great character because I hate her so much. I'll say that.
Yeah, if that was the goal, they succeeded.
Yes. 100%.
And it just like, it felt like they were trying to do this is like the Crusades type of idea, like a real world parallel to the Crusades. I'm not saying those were like incredibly well-founded or smart. But the point is but like it felt even less well thought out. They're just like, oh, we'll march our entire armies out of the city in 2 random directions to form 2 new cities for reasons. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way to go about this, guys. Okay. Because what's the attrition rate by the time they get to their actual city? 50, 70, 80%? Just horrendous.
It's awful. Like, and not even like what they planned for. It's like they both encountered something just astronomically weird because apparently the humans in this realm have decided to not calculate for the fact that it's the mortal realms.
Right.
Like, oh, there's a troll. Oh, there's a tax collecting death army. Like, oh, I didn't realize this existed. Like, how did you not?
Sure.
Sure.
And you know, this gave us a lot of what I would call like our 2nd tier characters that are very liked. Don't get me wrong.
Which was a good thing. I do think the game needs hero level, lord level characters, for lack of a better term.
I agree. And I think many of these have become very popular. Some not as much. But like Trug, Cthulhu, Usharan, Sekar, Abraxia, you know, we got a new Ionis, like obviously Ionis, the return of Ionis, right? Sure. Obviously in a very new form, right? Like obviously these are all impactful characters. You could argue the original Harbingers to some degree also, you know, had some kind of impact, although they were, you know, placed a little more generically into the armies. But and the funny part about these stories, for my money, was, well, first of all, as we all know, how does Abraxia's spear work? I mean, if only we knew, right? Truly one of the great unanswered mysteries of our time.
Who's writing it today is the question.
Right. But the humans that are like ostensibly the focal point of these stories were like the least interesting part of the story, despite all their best efforts otherwise, right? So the one girl who goes native to the Sylvaneth is like on the one side, and then you have Zenestra and everybody on the other side, on the fiery side.
Yeah.
And honestly, like this is where I pointed out that Broken Realms led us all around the realms and let us like it was like zooming in. Okay. When Game of Thrones was good. All right. Okay. Which like I do believe did happen. There was some amount of time where Game of Thrones was good. When Game of Thrones starts, that opening, right? And it's like all the little, it's a little TikTok machine, like bum bum ba da 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 da. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? And
Yep.
it was neat because it would like zoom you around the world, right? And it would be like King's Landing and the Wall and Winterfell and the Riverlands and stuff like that, right? And it was, it was a neat opening because you like zoomed into each little part of the world as it got built, right?
Right.
And the advantage to that story was it would take you around to those different places and be like, oh, well, kind of here's what's going on over here in this place. And some of those were misfires and you didn't really care about. And some of those were pretty fun, right?
Right.
But that's like what Broken Realms was for me, right?
So, there is things too where you have to accommodate. Like there's things that happen in this world that you just don't care about. That are inconsequential. Like for that specific point, if you want to zoom in on it for a story, it's huge. For the rest of everything else going on, doesn't matter.
Right.
I accept that they're going to put things like that even in our fantasy stories. That be like, oh, this might be pretty big for me personally, but they might not explore it because it's not the big thing for the setting that we need to care about.
Yeah. And that's fine. But like,
yes.
My point is with the Broken Realms, it was neat because like I could jump around the realms and see what was going on, right? I got to visit King's Landing, then Winterfell, then the Riverlands, then whatever, across the sea and everything, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here, over the course of the Broken Realms story, or the Dawnbringer story, I apologize. What happens is you basically you're just following these two groups of people as they walk across the land and meet the guest star of that episode.
Right.
That's all it felt like. Oh, now randomly they meet these guys. And then these other heroes show up to help them. And then they meet these next guys. And then these other heroes show up to help them. And it's just like boop, 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 boop. Right? That's and we're just straight as an arrow right through there. And it just felt so less organic.
It's taking away agency that we had from early second to mid to late second of creating your own story. Like I said, I talked about Tirathi. I created her in second edition because I had so much space. I had, I don't know, 40 magic items to put into my army based upon what realm I set my army in.
Sure.
And when you start taking it away by directing the story, like if all of a sudden it's only named characters doing stuff, well then where do I come in? I'm just watching a serial episode of something I that is interesting enough to pay attention to, but not enough to actually want to engage with. Because the core of a war game is like, I remember when I started 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
The book said, general is you. Put yourself into that general character. Make it you. However you do that. Maybe it's like a avatar you create for yourself where you're just like, that's actually me. I'm that human Empire general. Sigmar turned it into, you exist, but you don't matter. And I'm trying hard not to swear on your show, Vince, but like you can read between the lines. You exist, but you don't blank and matter because this is the person that matters. They're doing everything for you.
Sure.
And I'm like, great, but why do I care about that? Like, why do I care about Marathi? I like Kane. Why do I care about Marathi as a Daughters of Kane player? Maybe I don't, and maybe that's the reason. But like, if she's doing everything that drags my army forward, then it's like I either like her or I'm not engaged.
Sure.
I feel is a problem that we encounter in the current setting.
Agreed. And like the funny part about this story was because the main characters that you should be empathizing with, because they're the humans walking across the world, right? But they're so dumb and like what's happening is so stupid and uninteresting that all the great stuff was actually with those gods that you're talking about. Okay. Like there was a lot of great asides in this book that was like Vandus talking to Ionis or when Lord Croak is like giving Alariel like basically dating therapy.
Or the twins stealing the last
counseling.
Ember of the Earth Phoenix.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten.
They were the best part. They were the best part. They're the perfect example of what I want from characters.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, I love you. Archeon just being like so over it. Like when Abraxia is talking to him and he's like, I could not fine, whatever, just get it done. I got stuff going on here. Okay. Can you stop bothering me, please? All right. He's just done.
They nailed his character since the beginning of old tired man. Whenever Vandus was calling him out, like, I am Vandus Hammerhand, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, I'm Archeon, come on. And he just kills him instantly. Like,
yes.
They have nailed Archeon's character perfectly. He's the only character 100% judgment free. Perfect. Sorry.
Average Joe said, oh no, did I miss Vince doing his Usheron voice? First of all, I don't remember what my Usheron voice was, so somebody's going to have to tell me what voice I did for Usheron.
I don't know what it is either.
I'll have to go back and watch that book 4 or whatever to see what Usheron voice I did. But no, I mean, I like doing funny voices, but no, I did not do an Usheron voice. I don't even remember what it was. You know, what was the ultimate outcome of this from the thrust of the like main plot? Nothing.
I don't know.
2 small crappy cities got founded that were basically immediately undercut. One is destroyed. One is basically irrelevant. And we don't care. It's not like it wasn't some great thing. Right? It didn't matter.
Side note. This is someone, and Vince, you've been through this too. I've had 3 Cities of Sigmar armies. My most recent version, Living Cities, because that was an original Seasons of War army. North America fought over the Living City.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll base my army around that. We have transfer sheets, even to this day. I figured we're great. Okay, we're going to lose the elves. Not a problem. Whatever. I still have elves. Took them to Holy Havoc. It was a great time. However, I bought the new Cities of Sigmar book before I went to Holy Havoc. My army, which was a foundational point of the existence of this whole structure of this army. No pictures, no mention,
right?
Nothing. Living Cities is dead. I'm like, I want to swear so bad. Games Workshop, stop it. Include the core army. You can have 5 core cities. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. Do not get rid of one just because it had some freaking elves in it. Stop it. Like, I don't care. You're being dumb. Living Cities exists. Elves are gone. I'll accept the elves are gone part, but dear God, stop it. You have transfers.
I won't. I honestly hate what cities have become. Like post this whole thing,
terrible.
What cities have become now, it makes me so angry. Like I think it's just like an affront to everything that actually was interesting about Cities of Sigmar.
That's because we knew what it could have been with a true cosmopolitan army that they threw away for no reason other than stupidity. I'm sorry. I don't care. It was stupid.
I agree. Completely agreed. Yeah. Okay. I do want to say though that this also had the fantastic showdown between Vandus and Korgus, right? In Hounds of Chaos, we got this really nice final showdown, and you did get sort of the resolution to Vandus's story, and it's sad, right? Where he's broken the final time as he gives way, and he becomes a lightning geist that Ionis puts in.
I would say we should preface it with the first incantation with the first edition, where Korgus is about to achieve demonhood. Yeah, and Vandus calls him out, and he leaves the pyramid of the pyramid of skulls he was completing to go fight Vandus because he knows he has to. To then the opposite happening, where Korgus realized Vandus doesn't matter. Yep. And goes and achieves his demonhood, and that drives Vandus more mad than ever.
Yeah,
it's the perfect counterpoint. That is good writing, and it's like, okay, at least one lore writer read the original stuff before they wrote the words on the current pages.
I'm saying, like, everything that happens with Vandus, Ionis, Korgus over the course of this 100%. Series is like legitimately great, right?
Yes,
because they feel like actual characters with like real motivations and goals who are like doing things and have points of view in the world. Yeah. Like 100%. And like, it was an excellent continuation of their story. It's both sad, and like Ionis still goes on and has to basically put his old friend away, like lock him away to protect himself and others. It's great. And Korgus explodes and kills a bunch of people, and we have yet to see what happens to him. Just some dude 3762 with a super chat saying, "Hey Vince, without detouring too much, is there any rules from the new 11th edition of 40K that you think should be ported over to AoS for 5th edition?" I mean, I wouldn't mind it if terrain can also just be an objective that you can take. That's fine. Like, I know that's probably the biggest thing. That's okay. I would like that as a mode in either some battle plans or some options. There has downsides, like you have to have very specific kinds of terrain, which I don't generally care about or like or want. But I like if they were willing to like be a more free version of the thing, where it's just like, sure, man, put a piece of terrain here. That's what you're fighting over. I'd be like, yeah, okay, great. That's the objective. I don't mind that kind of thing. I'm not sure beyond that, honestly, if there's too much I would care to grab. A lot of it's kind of like in the weeds of 40K is what they changed, as opposed to like really big stuff. So, yeah.
I mean, outside of that, if you want me to stretch farther, like I agree with you wholesale, but maybe start putting secondaries and objectives on the missions more so than me having to choose 2 card sheets that I don't care to choose.
Oh, yeah,
with battle tactics. That's about it. Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. We could just get rid of battle tactics. Separate story.
Anyway. Yeah.
All right. And so obviously Dawnbringers leads us directly to Vermin Doom. And that's part of the whole point. Like, one of the issues with running these stories right up into the new edition is that it tends to just get invalidated like right away, because like these new cities get founded, whatever's happening, everything's happening with Hammer Hawkshi, and chaos is at the door, right? And then they get beat back and yada yada yada. And then all of a sudden, boom, Mount Everest made out of warpstone shows up 2 miles outside of their doorstep, and the Ruination Chamber comes down. It's like, hey, all that stuff we just talked about, never mind. That's all done now. Go away. Bye-bye. You know, just like, there you go. And we're in this new story, which doesn't advance. So that's strange.
I'll say, well, look at Old World. It's the ticking clock of we're getting to Prague. We know that. We all know that. It's a finite. We know where we're going. It's such minor steps each time. Like, oh, we got Chaos Warriors now. Oh,
sure.
Chaos is starting to come now after we've had the initial wave of the Marauders. Like, okay, cool. We haven't seen demons yet in full.
Sure.
Like, stop rushing things to make it a big impact. Like, I feel like they got stuck with, oh, the end times happen, so we have to make everything big and drastic. You don't. And also,
no, you can change big stuff in the world without getting to like a major beat. Like Marathi changing Anvilgard to Harkuron felt really major, but like in the span of the world, it wasn't actually like not that much shifted. Like actually because of it, you know what I mean? You can do stuff like that.
I just feel that they don't know how to handle the scope of the world they created, and they can't balance it between the scope of the universe versus the scope of individual caring as a person.
Right. AoS Coach. What's up, Coach? I hope you're doing well, brother. I read your article today on playing ogres. It's a good article. Everybody go read AoS Coach's article on how to play ogres. It's a good article. Coach has been writing some great articles over on the GW site, so check it out. Coach, you were hanging out with Tom at Old Town Throwdown this last week, from what I heard. So I'm sorry you had to deal with Tom, but I hope you had a great weekend out in California.
No, don't talk about Tom. Tom's great.
No, it's fine. I'm just messing with him. All right. Okay. So, hanging questions. All right. Here's my list. I'm quite positive I missed many. You ready, Chuck? Here's my hanging unanswered threads. Okay. Number 1. Ionis Cryptborn and the other Stormcast lady. I couldn't be bothered to look up her name. I'm sorry. Because I don't remember if she survived or not. What's that?
Yandrasta?
No. It's not one of the big named. She doesn't have a face.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
She's just like a named.
She doesn't matter. Move on.
I think she's a named Lord Veritant.
Sure.
Where they're both hunting for the cure to the Stormcast condition of like the imperfection in their reforging. Okay. And like, but they're both following separate paths, and it leads them to Big Oosh in book 4 and stuff like that. Like yada 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 yada.
Right. Gotcha.
We getting anywhere with that? Ionis has apparently been looking for this for like all of the editions since we first met him. He making any progress there? Any hot leads?
To be fair, with the scope of life of a Stormcast, I'm okay with this one not being solved anytime soon. Just to give you feedback. This one I'm okay with it being dragged out longer even. He's working on it is enough for me to go, okay.
That's fine. My point is, it is still a hanging threat, right?
Sure.
Okay. Sporadicus said her name was Astria Solbright or something like that. All right, cool. That's probably
Cool.
correct. I'm sure
I
it's in
believe you.
my like show notes from when I was reading those books somehow. Okay, so fine. Yeah, it's like a super MacGuffin. That's fine. All right.
Yeah.
Next, one that I know will be relevant to Chuck. Crethusa and Marathi split. Basically they imply that there's this like civil war spilling out amongst the daughters of Cain, right?
Hold on.
What anything happening with that? Or are we just gonna let that
Yes.
kind of rest? Like,
No.
what's going on there?
If you read the White Dwarf articles,
Oh, okay.
Crethusa has gone to Marathi and said, "Hey, I know we're not on the same page, but let's not fight. There's bigger stuff we need to deal with." And Marathi goes, "Was there other gods?" Implying like Moreheg, the one that Cthulhu has embodied. Was there other gods that have escaped Slanesh in regards to elf-specific gods? And Cthulhu said yes. And Cthulhu's like, I don't want to be against you. I just want to do my own thing. And I will not be in your way. And I will support you as possible. And Marathi goes, oh my gosh, other elf gods have survived the end times.
This isn't a white dwarf.
This isn't a white dwarf, and let's Cthulhu go. And it's like, hey, we're not friends, but we're not going to kill each other because we're using the same resources, which is like the witch elves and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
And Marathi now goes, oh my gosh, the other elf gods could have survived. That is horrible for her as someone who has stolen Cain. Which is so like, has your question been answered? Yes. Has a bigger, broader question been left open? 100%. Only if you buy white dwarfs like me.
Amazing. First of all, what an amazing place to answer that question. I would have never known that. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Great. Yep. And hilarious that we just answered the question with another bigger question. Love it.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right. Next up. You remember Gordrak? You remember how he like wanted to attack Azir? Remember that was like a whole thing that was going to happen?
He was a character. He did things. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. Then he just kind of like gave up on that, and now he's just doing other things. Like I mean, he shows up in the story every so often, like things happen. But remember how that was like his whole big plan was he wanted to get into Azir and he was being manipulated and the Chaos wanted him to do it, so he'd batter down the door and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
We just done with that?
Yep.
That just like, he just went, nah, seems hard.
Yeah. Apparently Marathi used all the Molten Realm stuff possible for Chaos to melt the lock to get into Azir. She used it all for no reason. So yeah, no, we can't do that anymore. Yeah.
All right, cool. Anyways, Gordrak in general, hilarious hanging threads. They just keep using that guy in random different ways. They're not sure what they want to do with him. Yes, exactly. Kragnos did steal the spotlight. Yes. My point is, yeah, he lost his super battering ram, but like, okay, that was it. That was his whole plan. I got this big log. Oh no. That was it. End of it. Okay. Next question. Hey, remember like 2.5 years ago when we had that whole thing happen that I just talked about with Korgus Call, and it was like super cool, and we were all sure that we were going to get like a new cool Korgus Call? Is that happening?
Like a demon model? No, yeah, like I don't know.
Idea. Get Korgus Call Ascended. What happened to that guy? That seems relevant.
It makes sense. I'm for it. We are all excited. Let's keep going.
Yeah. I just feel like we've been that thread's just been dangling. Just like we do anything with that? That seems important. Does that matter now? Okay.
Is Corn tired? What's going on with Corn?
Right. Like, what's happening here? I would like to know. Like, I have to imagine if they have any brains in their head, this has to get answered during whatever the narrative arc is that's coming up, right?
Well, it's like we would assume a plot point set up in a pre-edition story would be answered within the edition.
Correct. That's what I'm implying here. Yes.
Forgive me for not anticipating the DLC before the new edition to drop to get this answer.
Yeah, like He has a lovely skull pyramid now. He's decorating. Very nice. Corn's a flaky guy. Ba-doom. Yes, very good.
Yes.
Yeah, so like if they don't give us the answer to what happened to Corgus Call in this narrative arc that's coming up, I am just giving up on this whole thing. Like, stop it. It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay. Miniatures Paintbrush. Hey, what's up, Rob? Do you think the gods will disappear on the tabletop within the next iteration of the current AoS? No, I do not. Because I think they like selling $200 models.
Yeah. I think at worst it goes horse heresy, and they're only viable within a larger scale game.
Or they power them down and call them in, avatars or something like that. Like there's things they could do. But no, I think they'll be around in some way or another.
Yeah. No. Do you have any more, Vince? Before I
so
start bringing
more.
in mine.
I have so many more.
Keep going. Keep going. Let's go.
Okay. New Corgus Cole with a 36-inch pile-in. That's right. Boom! Just he can pile in from anywhere on the table. His normal move is 5 inches. His pile-in is 32 inches. Okay, here we go.
8 attacks.
Next question. Hey, Chuck, we talked about this a little bit. You don't have to say anything to this one. Here you go. Ready? There any more incarnates? Y'all got any more of them incarnates around anywhere? Is that a thing? There was supposed to be more of those. Is there just the one? Is that it? Okay. That's weird. Just that one thing, huh? All right. That's kind of strange. Just one weird flaming crate dragon skeleton. That's it.
Cool.
That's all that happened with that.
The end. Moving on.
Yep. Great. All right. Next.
Everybody has one. Moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Check the back. See if there's any other incarnates back there. Yeah, exactly. You got any in the warehouse or something? What's happening? Okay. Hey, remember I talked about Bellicor and he had all those big plans?
Oh, yeah.
What exactly are Archeon and Bellicor doing? What's going on with those two? We're really not hearing from them in a while. Archeon gets called on like the God phone by Abraxia, and he's clearly busy with something. He went over and like he was starting to break Marathi loose. Then he got distracted because he had to go deal with
You mean Slanesh?
Sorry, what did I say? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, he was about to break Slanesh free. And then he gets distracted because, oopsie doodle, I got to go deal with Chatacros over here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he goes and smashes him to bits. And then like what? Then
listen. He's got his I don't know. Like what's the stupid knight's called? Oh my gosh.
The Swords of Chaos, his Varangard?
Yeah, his Varangard. He had the Varangard. And I can only imagine he went back and it's like, all right, guys, I'm back. Let's deal with Chatacros. And the Varangard are like, we have a list of complaints that we're going to give to HR. We need you to deal with first. And Archeon's just like, okay. So that's why that's held up. And Bellicor has plans within plans, but he's also enjoying like the unlimited PTO he has with Chaos right now. So he's just like, I'm just gonna take some vacation time.
Yeah, could be.
He's like, pay's not great. My boss is an idiot, but unlimited PTO, I'm taking a month off, boys. We'll see you later. So, and that month turned into like 3 years, but it's the realm scope.
He's writing a book. Timeline. He's finding himself. He's eat, pray, loving his way through Italy. Who knows?
He's drinking wine, eating spaghetti.
Yes, exactly. Senti says, I'm running a Mordheim campaign, and to be fair, that whole setting is also a plot from Bellicor that never did anything. He just procrastinates. Yeah, Bellicor reminds me of Apocalypse from X-Men, and to be fair, I haven't watched season 2 of X-Men 97 yet. It's teed up.
I haven't either. No spoilers.
Yeah. No, I'm very excited about it. I was waiting for it to finish. It just finished recently, and then whatever. It's in my list. Then I got distracted by The Ninth Jedi. I don't know if you've seen this yet. It's like an anime Star Wars story that's really cool.
Yes. It's so good.
Yeah, so I'm watching my way through that, and I'm loving it.
It's after that, it's Ted Lasso, so like, yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
But this is so good.
But anyways, Apocalypse is famously known for having these like super long-term plans that never come to anything. So at any rate, that's who he reminds me of. Okay,
Fair.
Next one Here we go. I got so many of these. I was literally like going through finding all these plot threads, like dangling threads. You already mentioned it, Chuck. Are we ever going to do anything with the Phoenix Spark the twins saved? That happened. They were like, "Don't worry, we've got the spark of the all Phoenix or whatever." You know, they
Phoenix, yes,
Phoenix. Yeah, there you go. Yes.
The only thing I can imagine, and like I said, I'm not. I give elves more long-term credence than say like Cals and Toll, who should be dead by now, but aren't for some reason. They just keep popping up. Also, they ruin every game I play them against in
sure
freaking Sigmar.
You
like,
come to hate them more just because of their presence on the tabletop. Yes.
Yes, it's not game. Yeah. Anyway, but I think we'll see that come to resolution whenever we see Tyrion come back in full force. Only because of one specific fact. If you look at the Lumineth banner bearer, it's a split between the Teclian side and Tyranionic side. The Teclian side is clearly Teclis, and I forget the name of the mount.
Yeah, his Sphinx or whatever. Yeah.
But if you look at the Tyrionic side, it's clearly a Dragon Phoenix mix.
Okay.
I think we're going to see the resolution of that at some point when Tyrion comes back. So I'm not concerned about that one not being resolved, if I should say. Okay. Other ones, yes, 100%. I'm like, you forgot this existed, GW. This one, I think, is a key point to a army design, which is why we haven't heard anything about it.
Okay. So that's fine. It's out there. It's a thing. We've got it. I just want we doing anything with that? Just want to know. Okay.
Yeah, did you just kill a old world city because you felt like it and needed to, or is your plan coming into fruition? Is the question.
Right, because you could have just had it smash and been like, yeah, that's it, it's done. You didn't need to write the extra thing where Ella like you know, save that spark of the Ur Phoenix and stuff like that, right? Okay. Here's another one. This has been dangling for a long time. Hey, Chuck, we ever going to see Malarian? Does that guy exist? Is he going to show up anytime? What's this dude been up to?
Well, he's been renamed in the old world battle tomes for Malekith the Malarian. So they've at least done that. Does that count?
No. It does not.
Then no, I don't know what they're doing with him because he's one of the coolest characters that they could do anything with. And he's the only creature in existence of the mortal realms that could do anything to sway Morathi into any sort of direction.
Sure.
At this point. That's it.
Sporadicus says, I feel like Malarian's faction has been sent back to the drawing board like 3 times. I agree. It is shocking to me that we haven't seen these guys yet. Shocking.
It's 10 years, and we haven't seen 2... I'm going to say 2 halves, because like I think Malarian is just the other half of Morathi's army, and I think just like Tyrion's the other half of Teclis's army.
Sure.
And to be fair, put those armies together. Just do it. Just stop it. Do it.
Great. Yes, we did see him in the early art.
We saw one picture. Doesn't matter.
Yes, exactly. He has him in his like shadow dragon form, or whatever. God Santa said, Vince, I'm getting into purples and I love your royal purple. Can you recommend any other purple paints? Sure. Get yourself some Terrestrial Titan from Army Painter. That is also a great purple. It's very, very valuable. Legitimately, I very rarely use any purples other than those 2, to be completely honest, because with the 2 of those, I've more or less got what I want. But a couple of lavenders, and like Army Painter has some line of light lavenders like Violent Coven or Kraken Lavender or stuff like that. P3 has a lavender. Like something like that is actually pretty useful to have as well, just because a very light, pale purple blue is very nice. The rest, all of the like magenta purples is just literally that. You just mix some magenta into a purple and ta-da, there it is. But the blue purples are a little bit harder to get exactly right, because blues usually have a lot of white mixed into them in a sort of negative way that makes it harder to mix. Anyways, all right, my last hanging question. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Mega Ultra Chicken. Pro Acryl Dark Plum. That's a hot pick. I do use that one sometimes. Thank you. Yeah, Dark Plum is good. Okay. Is Slaanesh ever getting out of that prison? Is that ever happening?
Never.
Okay.
No, not until the end times. Age Sigmar edition. I mean, do they need to? I don't think they need to.
Clearly not.
Because they're still influencing. They're just right now. Slaanesh being bound is keeping Slaanesh from eating elf souls.
Sure.
Which, if you look at every other setting of Warhammer, fantasy or 40k, the core concept of the elves is to keep Slaanesh from eating their souls. Right now,
Sure.
Slaanesh cannot eat the souls because they're entrapped. That's a win. That's enough. The elves aren't trying to do anything else. They're not trying to destroy it.
Yeah.
So I think it'll stay status quo for that, with like the continual hints without any issue, which is fine. I think that's fine because like it's not hindering the army, other than whoever writes the freaking rules for that army. That they're the ones hindering the army, not the lore.
Sure. I've had a lot of people come after me on my Slaanesh take because they're like, Vince, you said Slaanesh was a bad book, but it's putting up numbers. It's like 63%. I'm like, those two things can be true, as a matter of fact. As I said in the episode, Slaanesh is a bad book, and it's also a very powerful book. It's a book where the skill floor is about way up here, and the skill ceiling is really high. And obviously, if you're like the type of player who really loves a hardcore mono blue control game that punishes your opponent and can like manipulate these different units all moving at once and being in the perfect location and jumping through all the hoops, then yeah, you'll probably be Slaanesh will be very, very powerful because it turns out mono blue control is very, very powerful, right? But that doesn't make it a great time. So,
but I will say, everybody out there at this point with this current edition, you need to separate tournament results from everything else.
Sure. But also,
it's
if a book is good, like that far out of the realm where it's like 63, 64%, which is where Slaanesh is landing right now, that also means it's a bad book. That's too... We don't want that. That's well outside of the thing. That would also be bad.
It's just the thing of like what we see versus what a very small percentage of the Warhammer scene presents as far as the tournament players. Honestly, 100%. The next edition of Sigmar needs to have two versions: tournament version, non-tournament version.
Oh, we've talked about this in the show, and I completely agree.
Yeah, we have, right. But like, it's such a different world entirely from those two thought processes that it would make a better game if they actually did separate it fully.
Yep.
But that and like I say, yeah. So like, that's why I'm behind Vince on this. Slaanesh sucks as a book. I don't want to play it. The end. Like,
yes. Matt Hatfield says Vince mono blue control has not been powerful in about 15 years. Yeah, sure, in standard. I understand. I'm commenting on the nature of the thing, right? Like, yes, control decks.
We only play Commander after Warhammer events. Sorry,
correct.
People. Deal with
correct.
It. Yeah, that's absolutely the meta we care.
All right, so that's my meta, absolutely. where I'm bringing the only Marvel Commander that matters. The only, like, all of the Marvel set and the Universe Beyond stuff I don't care about, but they did print the best Commander, maybe in the history of Commander in general, maybe in the history of Magic the Gathering. I know it's hard to say. And that is, of course, I'm speaking of the one hero, the hero we need from Marvel, the one we all love above all else. Let's all say it together. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Lucky the pizza dog. That's right. I can now have a golden retriever as my commander, and that's all I need in life. So...
listen, I remember
this entire Universes Beyond experiment has been worth it.
I know you're in the chat with this, Vince, but someone posted, it was from Gen Con, I think, of every card shown in this image is from a different universe, and I wanted to throw up. There's a reason why I focus on Pokemon for a card game now, because at least it's here.
I understand. I'm just saying, I love my little golden retriever boy. There you go.
Oh yeah. They're great. They are great.
My dog is back here. She's just laying. You can't see her right now, but you can kind of see her. You can see a little bit of her. She's right there. She's just laying on her back.
Having a good time. Living her best doggo life.
She's doing well.
So, do you remember when the Cruel Boys leader decided to scratch out the history of Kragnos' character?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes.
What is there going to be resolution of conflict based upon that?
Good one. That's a good one. I forgot about that one. Yes.
Yep. I hope so. What about so the Lumineth? They were mad at Marathi because Marathi stole that lantern because they were worried about that lantern from Teclis. They go up and confront her, and Marathi becomes a god, and it's like, hey, you need to trust me. They're like, okay, because they're afraid. What have the Lumineth been doing since? Is a question for me.
It's a good question.
Whole lot of nothing. Boy, what else? I had another one. It's flown my mind, but it's the whole thing of like which story beats matter versus which don't. Like my biggest one that matters for me right now is the one that I surprised you with earlier of, hey, it's possible that all the old elven gods still exist in some capacity.
Sure, that's crazy.
Yeah, which that's a lot. That's a lot of power running around. And like maybe it's not all of them. Maybe it's not the primary ones. But like the subcategory ones are still very powerful. Like, okay, and also too, we've seen what happens with the Kurnothi. There's the song that captures whether you're human or elf, and you become part of the Kurnothi's continuous advance. But we've not seen Kurnothi come into the Sylvaneth setting. Why?
Yeah,
they're clearly probably the most driving force of growth within that whole setting.
Yeah,
because they can literally steal everything.
With you. These are good questions. These are unanswered questions. And that leads us here, Chuck. Let's close out with the last thing we'll do. The future. What are the most important questions and the things we want to see in the 4th edition narrative arc here? Okay. I already named one of them. I've got his picture already on here because I already knew I was going to talk about it and wouldn't be able to shut up about it, which is, can I please know what is going on with Korgus Kull? Please. For God's sakes. Why are you like this? So I'm gonna, that would be nice. Thank you. And please.
I'm going to raise you. Give me reason Thanquol should continue to exist.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
We just had this huge Skaven advancement. Skaven, oh, we had a chaos god of Skaven now. Great, that's fine. Fully accepted. No complaints here from my elven standpoint. Show me why Thanquol should exist, and then please write him into one of the narrative books with Gotrek, because I'm tired of Gotrek just fighting random jobbers.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
He should not have a problem with them.
Yeah.
Just point counterpoint on occasion. Doesn't have to be every book, but like you have Thanquol, who is a fantastic character and fully believable reason of his existence. Now prove that it should happen continuously.
I love that. Hey, you're in my faction's wheelhouse. I love it. All right, I got one. That's a little more generic. Okay. And this may sound weird, but I really do mean this. Okay. I would like to see a romantic entanglement actually be the central focal point of some story within this narrative here. Okay.
All right.
Like, look, relationships matter. Okay. At the heart of the Odyssey, I've heard that movie's popular. Seems like a popular story. At the heart of it, it's a guy trying to get back to his wife, theoretically. Right? Okay. So I think there's a lot of interesting romantic entanglement stories that are out there. You could do it with Alariel and Kurnoth. You could do it with lots of different characters, actually.
You could do it with Alariel and is somehow Tyrion the embodiment of Kurnoth somehow. Can you entangle the Lumineth with the Sylvaneth in some way? No one's going to complain about that. We'll all be like, okay, we're buckled up. Let's go for this ride. Let's see where this takes us, because this could be fascinating as heck.
Yeah, like
don't
look, it's fun. Like, I'm sorry, but it's fun. Okay.
I think I have multiple things I could say here. I think the primary thing is what I just kind of hinted at. Whoever's writing the lore for this new thing, may I say one F word? May I say one?
You can do it. We're late into the show. You can do whatever you want. Children,
don't
cover your
be
ears.
Yep, please cover your ears. Don't be a fucking coward. Stop it. You have been a coward for 2.5 editions. Stop it. We are adults playing an adult war game. You can give us an adult theme, especially because I have background music right now, and it's Cruel Angel's Thesis from Evangelion, which is a weird thing, but that's too adult. But give us a real thing to care about. It's not going to impact the new kids coming in. We don't need to tell them about the whole story of Tyrion and Ilariel and why this is weird. Give us something like that. I'm not even asking for a new realm at this point, which should be the obvious thing they should give us mandatory.
Sure.
Give me something real and substantial, and don't be afraid about committing to it, because it's not going to hurt you. Oh my God. I don't know how to say this any louder or harder. I'm sorry.
No, I'm with you.
Thank you for allowing me the one swear. I appreciate it.
100%. Senti says smooching in Black Library books is not a thing. Well, I hope I don't need it in the Black Library book, but it should be in the campaign book.
It'll probably be in the White Dwarf. Let's be honest. That's where it's at.
Because
that's where the action happens.
Most major fantasy stories, I'm not asking for this to become like lit fantasy or whatever, like romance fantasy.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But like relationships matter. That scene where Ilariel is talking about what she's lost and Croak is like explaining to her about what the future may hold is like a genuinely compelling and emotional scene. Because in our lives, we all have relationships and people we love and care about. It's like a very humanizing thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know why we can't ever handle that kind of a story element. Again, I'm not asking for it to be like, freaking, Dawnbringers Part 2, everybody's in love now and boinking on the battlefield. Like, that's not what I'm not trying to cheapen the thing. Okay. I'm saying, like, I think that it would be really neat if we actually had some characters that had romantic entanglements and that mattered and influenced their decisions and the choices they made in some way.
I think what you're hinting at more specifically is just, please recognize that a large portion of your audience is adults, and we want some adult themes to tangle with these characters.
Correct. Yes.
They don't
absolutely.
They don't have to be like extremely deep, but like, I care about Ilariel's emotions. I care about Marathi's emotions, because if you don't think Marathi has emotions, then my goodness, you need to go research her entire character. Her and Ilariel are the two most intricate characters you have ever seen in Warhammer. Ilariel's more evolved, whereas Marathi's more consistent, but both of them have such a unique perspective that you could connect with. I don't think you need to do it with the Marathi, but you need to do it with Ilariel, because you have the perfect point to do so with Tyrion not being back in the setting. Oh my goodness, you can like treat me like an adult, and I will respect you, because let's be honest, I don't care about corporations in any way, shape, or form. I care about this setting. I don't care how much money Games Workshop makes. I care about how this setting makes me feel, and that's what drives my impact on wanting to spend money. Exactly. There's a reason why this edition, I've not bought anything besides Daughters of Cain books and narrative books.
Yep.
But if you started doing some entangling adult narrative type stuff with Ilariel and Tyrion, I'm buying both of their books nonstop. I want to see what happens. Holy crap, let me know.
Yep. Exactly. Gray Boy had said, I think the new world is a realm. I think the new world is a new realm. Oh, okay. That could be the solution.
That could be fun.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
No problem with creating a new realm out of this. That's fine.
Yeah, that'd be great. Absolutely. Slam some things together, right? Not to return to Magic, but one of the sets I'm most excited for next year is the Kamigawa Titanfall, where like Ikoria breaks in as a whole plane smashes into Kamigawa and starts dropping monsters down on there, and they have to fight back with like their big vehicle mechs. Yes, please.
That's what I want. That's amazing. I'm not a Magic player.
That is what I'm talking about, right? See, then
I'll buy some of that set. Yeah.
Now this is pod racing. Okay.
Yes.
Deadmo8425 with a super chat saying, bring back Felix womanizing all the females he meets, especially the Skaven ones. There you go.
I'm not opposed. Bring it. Let's do it.
Yep. So like, like I'm, so anyways, that's mine. What else would you like to see in the upcoming narrative? What else do you think?
I would say like treat us like adults as far as a lore setting, but like let's be honest. Easy pick. I won't even go deep on is give me a new realm to look at. But
Sure.
more importantly, give me a cohesive narrative from beginning to middle to end, whether the consequences are big or small. Because I still don't know what happened with Skaven Blake coming into the Akshi realm. I don't care what happened at this point, but give
Right.
me this happened. Give me the consequence of how people view it. Give me what's happening during it, and give me the resolution of it, because I feel like we're missing that entirely with this whole. And like the Skaven are the only army within the Warhammer setting that is truly the most unique, and you're squandering it right now.
Agreed.
Don't do that again.
Totally agreed. All right. My last pick would be, I really would like to see some direction on like what is going to, I mean, I mentioned it already, but I really would like to see some direction on what's happening with Malarian, and I'd like to see us go to another realm. Those are my last two hits.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
I just like, we've been teasing him for so long. I think something like Ulgul, the Realm of Shadows, would be a great place to visit. I think Malarian lives there. I think it's just such an easy thing. Like, can we please just actually see someplace else the stories of those places and understand what's going on with this guy that is theoretically quite important to the story and has basically no representation? Like, Teclis and Tyrion, I don't feel are like going to act that different. What I mean by that is like, yes, they'll have different ways they prosecute battle, but like they don't have incredibly differing points of view on like how the theoretically pretty unified.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Whereas Malarian and Marathi are very different on how the Umbranith Dark Elf should act.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's interesting. Right. So you got rid of the Dark Elves from cities. You did it. Fine. Give me
all good
something. Okay. Just give me something. So there you go. Waited. It's been many years. Okay. That's all I got. That's all I got. Chuck, it was a great time.
It's a good time.
Absolutely.
We can only hope for the benevolent future that Age of Sigmar narrative gives us in the coming editions.
My guess is sort of be careful what you wish for, Vince. Malarian's army is definitely just different flavors of Doomfire Warlocks. No, the monkey's paw curls. Yep, exactly.
I have so many. I'm okay with this. Let's do it. Give more. Yeah, exactly. Give me more.
Just all weirdo Doomfire Warlocks. Listen, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this little journey through the history of AoS lore and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't hit like yet, you should do that. Hit like, subscribe. Thank you for everybody who super chatted. Click those buttons, click things that make dings, like, subscribe, hype it if you're on your phone. That's a thing you can do, apparently. Hit the hype button. I don't know. Social credit, some kind of nonsense. There you go.
I'm going to hype it right now.
Hey, all right. Be cool like Chuck. But no, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody who super chatted. Thank you, everybody who chatted and commented and kept the conversation going. We really appreciate it. I'm off to NashCon this weekend, so I'm going to have a great time. My army's actually like right there. It's all packed up. There they are.
There it is.
They're all in that case. Got a big old Skaven army I'm taking this weekend, so it'll be a great time. I look forward to not winning very many games. But I'm gonna play hard. At any rate, thank you all for watching. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the links down there. Pick all this stuff. Use your affiliate links, Patreon, merch store, new games from Adam and I, other podcasts, Vinci Cinematic Universe. You know how it all goes. Click all that stuff. But hey, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. There it is. Okay. As always, I had to get back to my channel. I had to get back to the thing. Oh no. Oh no. What are we doing? Okay. As always, we'll see you next Wednesday. And don't forget to start rolling dice.